My name is Edwin Zapata, author of the Amazon best-selling book, Your Next Step, New Tools for Financial Abundance Now.
I'm Geraldine Carrier, the author of the upcoming book, Wild Woman, Master the Art of Pride, Presence, and Productivity.
A book can be more than just stories. It can engage your audience, create opportunities, generate leads, but only if you have the book work for you.
BCBtv presents Message to Millions, where we spotlight authors and get their message to millions.
Hey everybody, welcome to Message to Millions, Author Spotlight, where we spotlight authors and get their message to millions. My name is Edwin Zapata, author of the Amazon best-selling book, Your Next Step, New Tools for Financial Abundance Now, and I'm here with my co-host,
Geraldine Carrier, and I'm the author of Wild Woman, Master the Art of Pride, Presence, and Productivity. Of course, we have another author to highlight today. Edwin, can you tell us about him?
Absolutely. Our guest today is tuning in all the way from 10 minutes from Amsterdam. So he's somebody very special because he is actually about to do 2 book launches in England, and one of which is he's going to be basically speaking for those of you that follow Clubhouse, for Pete Cohen. So he's going to be doing a speech for Pete Cohen all the way in England. And, you know, this gentleman, he's as genuine online as he is in person. So you're not going to get any phony baloney from this guy. And you're going to want to tune in 100% because he's also the founder of the Dream Driver program. He's a coach, he's an author, he's a speaker, and you can check him out if you go to his website, trappedinadreambook.com. You can learn more about his book and get more insight because he does have that program, the Dream Driver program, which is a 12-week program. And you're going to want to tune in for that. And, you know, he's the author of Trapped in a Dream. So who better to speak to today than the one and only Mr. Frank Soonius?
Woohoo! Welcome, Frank. How are you?
I am great. I'm amazing, excited, and I'm so ready.
I love it. Well, I'm going to jump in. Oh, you going? Okay, go ahead.
Let me go at it, Jer. So, because you've been able to crack the Clubhouse code, and I asked that because I've heard this several times, and some people say Clubhouse is dead because COVID is over, and I know that's not the case. Every platform has its place and has its audience, and you've been able to basically create an audience and a community and be involved with Clubhouse to the point where you've been able to go and you've been invited to go speak in England and have 2 book launches in England and basically create a network in Clubhouse. So my question is, how have you been able to crack the Clubhouse code in a time when people think that it's over, which, by the way, people, it's not?
Well, it's a really good question, and I love that question because when I came on Clubhouse 16 months ago, I thought I was ready for the world. I did my speaking training with Andy Harrington in London. I did my speaker training with Les Brown from the World Class Speakers, and I was fired up. I was ready to step in. Well, I was lucky that COVID was there. Of course, it was not lucky for the rest of the world, but for me, it was lucky because Clubhouse came. And telling your story is changing your story. And because of Clubhouse, I started to listen, speak, listen more, and speak. And because of that, I changed my story completely. Now I can explain my book so much better because of Clubhouse, because listening to other people with other stories, but they gave the answers why I wrote the book. They gave me exactly why my book is so needed, because so many people are trapped. We're not alone. We're not alone, you know. John Lennon was always singing, you know, we are not alone, that we are, you know, trapped because so many people are so busy with their to-do list that they forgot the best thing, their to-be list. They don't know who they are anymore. So they go on with the to-do list, so make their money, pay their mortgage and do everything. But in the end of their lives, they will say, if I only had. And when I heard that, I'm so happy I wrote the book, because the book is all about live your dream now. Don't wait another second. Live your book now. Live your life now, your dream now. Sorry.
Well, you have me all excited now because I'm like, that's exactly what I need to hear. And I think a lot of people would resonate with that because, yeah, from the beginning, when we're born, we're, pick blue, pick pink, do this, do that, be this. If you want to be a person of importance, you need to be this way, right? But we never actually ask ourselves, hey, does this actually make me happy? Does this make me feel fulfilled? And how do I bring more of that when we've been so conditioned to do things because of something else, right? So I'm loving this. So what would you say, like, what does somebody have to do to actually tap into understanding, what actually makes you happy? How do I dream more?
Well, as you just said, from the moment you're born, you start to live your life told and taught by other people. But did they live their dreams, or did they live the life that came through them? And the life they had to live because there were no other opportunities. But nowadays, there are so many opportunities. To live your dream, it's also in my program, to live your dream, it's you have to find those people who support you. You have to look at your support team. If you make your support team as valuable as you can, and not talk to everybody who's saying, oh, that's not for you. If your parents will always say, oh, you have to go to school, you have to study, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this. But I'm telling you, that's not the case. You have to feel good with the people. And if you have to look for so many other people to support you, well, you have to. Then you have to go on. You have to not giving up when people say, oh, that's not for you, that's not for you. And so many people say, when I told people I'm going to write my book, they said, Frank, 32 years as a tennis coach, you're a great coach. Please don't start writing, don't do ridiculous things, that's not for you. Leave that to the experts. But who are the experts? Who are the experts? I don't know. I don't have a clue. Maybe I'm an expert. Maybe I didn't know because I was trapped myself for so long. So for me, it is always stay positive. Always stay positive. Even if people say, that's not for you. Well, go on, because it is your dream. It's your unique gift. We all born with something unique. And if you give that away, if you don't live your dreams the way you want to live your dreams, what's left? There's nothing left. In the end, you will say, if I only had done. And I don't want that, because 80%, there was a research in Australia. There was a research on 1,000 people who were dying in the last days of their lives. And they all said, if I only had lived my own life the way I wanted to live my life. And if it's crazy, well, it is crazy. If you want to do something crazy, you've got a book, Wild Woman. Well, I love the title only because, if you're a wild woman, well, be a wild woman and be the best wild woman you can be. And, it's so much fun being a dream driver, to push people to say, hey, go on, it's yours. It's yours. I always say, go and get out of the prison you put yourself in, because you can lock yourself up, but your door is open. But there is a time you think, is this it? Is this my life? No, it isn't. The door is open. I only have to give you a push and get out and be the gift you were always meant to be.
Something you shared there, Frank, reminded me of two things. And I wanted to touch on this for those listening. Basically, what Frank is saying is the cemetery can be the most expensive place, because from those people that he's talking about, that are at the end of their lives, and hey, we're all going to get there. Nobody's immune from that. And the last thing you want to do is have regrets, where you could have lived a different life with different talents, and it's no surprise that he's sharing that because of his, his exposure to Les Brown, and he talks about that a lot. Now, imagine you get to that point in your life and you look back, you're not thinking of, I should have worked more overtime. I should have flipped a few extra burgers, or I should have, whatever the case. You're not thinking of those things. You're actually thinking of the things that you've missed out on and the talents that you knew you had or potential to gain and you've lost. And it reminded me also as well, when I was about 17, 18 years old, and yes, I do have a question for you, Frank. Don't worry, I'm not gonna leave you out.
Nah.
But it reminded me of when I was 17, 18 years old. I was working at a mechanic shop, and one of the mechanics, because I wanted to be a mechanic at the time, he said to me, he asked me a question. He looks at me and he says, "Hey, Edwin, I have a question for you. What are the 3 saddest words in the English language?" And I thought about it because I thought I was smart at the time, and I couldn't give him an answer. And he was a pastor, so he looked at me and he responded, "I should have." The 3 saddest words in the English language are "I should have." Because by the time you think to yourself, "I should have," it's too late. I should have called my parents more, and now they're gone. I should have seen that person, and now I can't get a hold of them. I should have this, I should have whatever the case is. Those are the 3 saddest words. So my question to you, Frank, is, have you ever faced a time where you look back and you think to yourself, "I should have," and do you have any regrets yourself that maybe you can shed light to somebody else listening? And I know we've all gone through similar, right? But maybe someone that's listening that thinks to themselves, "It's too late for me. That, I should have, but I didn't, and this is what my life is now." For those listening, what would you say to that person that maybe has that mental barrier, thinking that there's no hope for them and they might as well quit now?
Well, I always use the KFC director, and we know that story of the guy from the KFC. He was 72. His wife died. He had he didn't want to live anymore. So a friend came. He was so depressed, and he cooked dinner for his friend. And his friend said after the dinner, "Wow, what a beautiful dinner! How do you cook that chicken? How long do you do this?" "Oh, my whole life for my wife." "Wow, you should do something with that." Well, we all know where it all ended for this man. He was 72. His life started all over again. And, we all know what KFC means into the world at this moment. So never, ever look back at your life, at the mistakes. Because, you learned that from Les Brown. You need to go to the deep waters. You need to fail. Denzel Washington is saying, "Please fail, and fail as big as you can, as quick as you can." Because you need to fail. Why? Because you have to lose those enemies who cannot swim, like fear, anxiety. You have to lose them to fail. Then you lose all those fear of those doubts. Doubt killed more dreams than failure ever did. We know that. But it's holding us back. It's holding us back all the time. We want to do something new. We think, "Am I good enough?" Well, my book is all about that. All the time I was thinking I was not good enough. So what did I do? I became the biggest pretender in the world. I pretended that everything was fine. That smile of me kept me alive for so long, till that smile became less and less and less. And of course, you can read it in the book. The moment somebody told you, "You go for life in prison," well, that smile is gone. That smile is not there anymore. And I could not pretend anymore. When I was in prison, I couldn't say, "I'm only pretending. This is not real." Well, guess what? Welcome to the real world. It was real. And I fought that. Of course, I fought it. And I won the trial and the trial of my life. But that's not the court case. That was not, so many people think I'm talking about the court case. It's not the court case. I lost the court case, by the way. They gave me 13 years in prison for being a pretender, for being not me. I was a pretender and I was put in jail as a pretender in jail for 13 years. And there I found the real Frank. The mask I couldn't use anymore because I didn't win with the mask. So what can I do? Get rid of the mask. And the moment I became myself, I had a chance. And they let me out after 4 years and 3 months, being me. I had lost all insecurities, all fear. Of course, I was not ready to step into the real world again. But the moment you give up on being a pretender, the moment you start living with your normal you, be you, that was the moment I had a chance. And then the moment I felt like that, everything started to flow. I started my tennis school again. I met so many incredible people because I was me. And people liked even the guy without the mask. He was good enough. And because he was good enough, you attract different people. And those people see the good in you. They see the dream driver in you. They see the real you. And they see so much potential that I never, ever, ever thought I had in me. And that's what we all need. We need that person or that event when you finally say, hey, listen, I'm good enough. I like the guy in the mirror. And, you know, from now on, I'm going to be that guy in the mirror. And he is good enough. And let's see where it brings me. And I'm so excited that I took that chance. Somebody gave me that chance, that people who fought for me, while I couldn't fight for me. And look where it brought me. You know, I'm going to do a book launch in the embassy in Holland, in England. Well, I would never, ever expected that. But it's coming. And I love it's coming. And if it's not coming, that's fine too, because I found myself. And that's good enough. And that's what I want to give to everybody. You know, find who you are. Be who you are and let life.
You know, some people say that things in your life sometimes happen for you and not to you. And from what you've shared from your experience, because for the audience listening, I didn't know what he just shared, right? So that was totally new to me about him having gone through that experience, like with jail and stuff. And it sounds to me like that was happening for him and not to him, where most of us would probably sit there dwelling on, you know, the sad part that, hey, you're in jail and all that stuff. And of course that has its place. And he was able to look at it from a positive perspective and shift his mindset and say, hey, I'm not happy with who I was because I was being inauthentic, which is funny because, like I mentioned earlier on the introduction, he's the same in person as he is online now. And he's totally sharing with us that wasn't always him. And on his journey of basically uncovering, and I'm saying that on purpose, he basically uncovered himself because he was covering himself with a different version. Now, Frank, on that journey of things happening for you, where does Les Brown come into play? Because he's one of my favorite speakers in the world. And I just want to know, because for sure he's impactful. You mentioned him earlier. How was that pivotal? How was that pivotal point in your life when you got to have that experience of basically having him introduced into your life?
Well, I was lucky to sit in front of him for 3 days in London. And I was sitting on the first row on the corner. And he was sitting, say, I couldn't touch his knee for the whole time. So I filmed, well, how many videos did I film? Incredible much. And in the end, I was also lucky because, of course, when you're sitting in the first 2 rows, you've got a chance that he brings you up. And his daughter, Anna, was also there. And she saw me and she said, hey, you big guy, stand up. And I had to speak for 6-7 minutes. And there was a dentist. He was following me. I didn't know he was following me on Facebook, but he was following me where I go. He was going after me. It was really funny. And that guy grabbed his phone and videoed me doing my talk in Les Brown. And after that, he introduced himself and he gave me the video. And I still have that video of that day. But I did first the training with Andy Harrington. And that was so different because, Andy Harrington is like, when you have to come to the front, you have to go to the back to be the warrior or the smooth talker. You learn all those different kinds of, the moment you go back, where you stand. And then you see Les Brown sitting like enjoying his talk, completely different. Doesn't matter where you stand, how it does. It's all about content. And then I have to say this, of course, Les was incredible. But then I met the guy, Nick Vujicic. He's got no arms and legs. He's not a speaker. He says that he's not a speaker. He's got no arms and legs. He can only sit on the table with a little chicken bone where he hold his balance. And he said to me, Frank, do me a favor. Stop going to those courses. Stop going to give you money away. Be you. Stand up, tell what's happening to you, and let the world do the rest. If they like you, they like you. If you don't like them, change your story. Do it differently next time. That's the way he started. If you ever heard how he became a world-class speaker, he became a world-class speaker in 24 hours. He went from $50 speaking in the school. The next day, the 52nd school they called, he said, 2,000. And they said, that's fine. Well, Nick Vujicic is now speaking for 75,000 an hour. And he's coming to Amsterdam for $500,000 to one of the biggest businesses here in Holland. Is he a good speaker? Of course he is, because his content is good enough. And he's got one big thing, what I learned from him. He said, Frank, you've got a problem. I said, tell me. I said, tell me something new. He said, no. It's not that what you think it is. You've got arms and legs. People come to see me because I've got no arms and legs. But I'm telling you this. So many people have beautiful stories, but they've got a problem. They've got arms and legs. So I said, what must I do? I said, now, don't take your arms off. Don't take your legs off. But be you. Be you. And every time I'm somewhere and I think, oh, when I'm rambling, I think of Nick or Les. Because Les told me I'm rambling all the time. I love rambling. And guess what? People love me rambling because they know what's coming. And still they come to see me. They know exactly. There are people sitting behind me at Les Brown. They could even say the words before Les Brown told the words. They heard it so many times. And it's not rambling. It's you being you. And that's all you have to do.
I love it. There's just so much good stuff here. And I'm like, how do I word it in a different way? Like, where do I want to go with this? But I have a question that I'd like to ask all of our authors. And it's one of those questions that I just want to hear what your perspective on this is, okay? So the question is, like, you can teach a monkey how to drive a bike, typewrite, all the different things, like an actual monkey, right? But you can't teach monkey drive, right? The drive, the will, to run that extra mile, to push yourself beyond those boundaries. What do you think builds drive? And if you could bottle it up and drink it every single day, how would you do that?
Well, I always use, when somebody tells you today, on the other side of the bank of the river is your dream life. Will you find a way to get over there? Yes, you will. You will find a way. There are many ways to go there. You can walk and hope that there is a bridge. You can walk and hope the water is not that deep, and you can walk to the other side. You can start learning to swim. and maybe you can swim to the other side. Wait for a boat. Maybe there is a boat. But guess what? The moment there's a fire on your side of the island, well, you have no choice. You have to go to the other side. So you have to build yourself up. Because of the doubt, you hold yourself all the time. Fear, doubt, insecurity is holding you back. And when do people change? We all know when people change. When change is the only thing that's left. That's why I wrote the book. That's why I wrote the book, because I think you don't have to wait to change. You can change all the time, but you have to create that support team around you, that right spouse, the peer group must be so strong that you will fail. I hope now that the people around me will say sometimes, hey, Frank, what are you doing at the moment? That's not the right way, and I start to listen. That's what I learned on Clubhouse. Listen to people say, hey, listen, Frank, you're on the wrong track. You know how many people said I was on the wrong track? I was so lucky that Clubhouse was there, because otherwise I would stand on events and speak. And now they said, Frank, you always start with, I was innocent put in jail. Guess what? Nobody is innocent. Nobody is innocent till now, till this moment as I speak. Everything I said has consequences. Everything has consequences. So I'm never not guilty. I'm always guilty of what I've done till now. So when I came in that trial of my life in front of 12 juries, it was my go. I went there. I made a mistake to go to a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. I had to go there. To go to Australia. I said yes to the ticket. I bought the ticket. I went to Australia, and those things happened. So I had to face the music. So I had to front those 12 people. And was my story good? No, it was not good enough. So the jury said, well, he probably did it. In jail with him. Because my story was not good enough. I could connect the dots. But now, go back straight away, because I love more to talk about, to go to your dream life. So many times when we fail, we lose sight on all the things we already achieved. We forgot to be proud of the things before we failed that we did well, the belief we had that we are on the right track. So many people think, I'm doing a good thing. And it didn't work out. Well, because there are better things for you waiting. Better things waiting. So it had to go wrong to go to the best chapters of your life. So we after failure, we lose track of all those results that were going well before we lose. So you have to go back to the positivity, the being proud, and of course, your purpose in life. We all know that, your why in life. And if you all the time think, this is not my why, guess what? Change, fail, change, try again, fail, change. And guess what? You will get there. The book, Trapped in a Dream, full of that. Every time I thought I was on the right track, guess what? It was not, but something better came. Something better came after failure. And if you start really believe that, with that support group who said, hey, you're doing well, doesn't matter, next time better. Next time better, of course. There is always a next time. You know how it's called? Tomorrow. It's called tomorrow.
So Frank, with you having gone from, I'm going to say from tragic to magic, right? And although there was no magic involved, because obviously you did the work. So for those listening, he created his own magic, so to speak. But I can totally understand why now you've created the Dream Driver program for coaching others to help overcome that, because you've honestly lived it and experienced it. So for those that would love to learn more about the Dream Driver program that you have in place that's coming up. I mean, to go from jail to now literally an international speaker, not just on Zoom, you're actually being flown out to speak, give keynote speeches, do book launches, in different parts of the world. And to go from that to where you are now, what can people expect that may be hesitant with their own abilities when they join the Dream Driver program?
Well, it's not magic. It is not magic. It's normal, logical thinking. Because of life, so many things come in our thoughts. So I'm gonna make it easy to you. So many people came to my tennis lessons, and I said, "What's the reason you come to my tennis lessons?" And they said, "Oh, well, I was with my doctor. I'm a little bit burned out. I've got too much stress, so I come to tennis." Guess what? You come to tennis, one of the most difficult technical sports you can go to. And then there's a guy called Soonius, the teacher, and he's going to say, "Step in, follow the ball, follow through." It's going to be hopeless because they come with that full suitcase. That's so much stress in that head. They're not free to enjoy my tennis lessons. They cannot pick it up because it's too full. It's like going on holiday. You pack your suitcase full of stuff, and guess what? When you come back, look how much you used and how much you didn't use. Half you didn't have to take with you because you're not going to use it. You maybe think it's the same with life. So many things you hear, you all the time, you see the bad news. You better create the news, but you listen to bad news. You stop it in your head, and then you come to your boss, and he stops more stuff in your head. And then you go to a tennis lessons because you want to relax. And then there is a guy who all the time say, look for the ball, the jump, hit the ball, follow through. Well, that's too much. So what did I do? Always, we do a step back. We take some out of the brain that's not useful anymore. Take it out, put it away, make some space. And when the moment the space is there, then when that dream comes along, you can stop and listen. Hey, that's my dream. Step in, come in. So it's easy. It's easy. Take things out, be open, and when something good comes, then you can feel it. You can really feel it. But when you're so full of all the other things, and you come to tennis lessons, or somebody said, "Do you like your job?" No, I'm not liking my job, but I have to pay the mortgage. I have to, we have to. Our to-do list is so full. Take a lot out of the to-do list. Bring it to the to-be list. Be a little bit more happier, relaxeder. And then it's there. Then you're open to pick up that dream. I'm telling you this, you're not picking dreams. No, the dream will pick you. The dream will pick you. But you have to be open. If you're not open, you cannot pick up the dream and never be the gift you were always meant to be. So, I take a lot out of the thoughts that were holding you back. And then I'm not going to put something new in it. No way. I leave it open. And then you will pick up a dream somewhere, maybe by meeting you, maybe meeting Gerry. Who cares? You never know where it comes from, but the dream will always pick you. Don't think that you can pick a dream. No. He will pick you, and you never know where it comes from.
That's beautiful. I love that. So how do people, okay, so this is one of my big things is, looking at the workplace as it is now, right? So I like to talk about the generational differences, right? So people who, are traditionalists, baby boomers, Gen X, Gen Ys, millennials, and they have crazy terms now. I don't even know what they are. But when you say things like get rid of, right? Get rid of that stuff. So how Because again, depending on where the person is and their timeline of things, we have different, needs, desires, and yes, for the people who are coming up, that they may think that, why would I want to take advice like that? That doesn't make any sense to me right now, right? So when you are saying you're showing up with all of this information, your luggage is full, it's fully packed, right? So how do people get rid of stuff?
Well, that's why I created a program. It's 12 weeks. Every 2 weeks is a different P. I call it the 6 Ps. And the first 2 weeks, it's all about positivity. You put a lot of positivity into your world again, into, the way you talk, the way you think, put positive things into it. And it's really funny when you start doing this, people think, the way you talk is so different when you are talking positive about, when you come to tennis lessons. Oh, I've got tennis lessons. Yes, I'm going to tennis lessons. You see, it's a small difference. But the way you approach, what are you doing? I'm going to tennis lessons. Tonight I've got tennis lessons. And the way you start talking to yourself, there is already a change in your thoughts. I show you in 2 weeks to be proud of all the things you did already. So many people say, oh, I've done not so much. When I say to people, do you have a story to tell? I've got nothing to tell. In 5 minutes, they start to talk like crazy and they never talk. And they're changing already. They're taking things out and they're making things in. And then you go to the balance, the persuasion, the balance in your life, the pause in your life, the purpose in your life. And then the last 2 weeks, I put the passion into your life. We're going to go over what is passion for you. And so many people say, passion? I have no passion. Well, guess what? I'm telling you, in 12 weeks' time, you will be full of passion. And it's all normal stuff. It's not magical. It's all building up. And because of that, you take the things that was holding you back away out of your mind. And then when the dream comes, I don't know what your dream is. I can ask it you today, but maybe tomorrow it's different. But that dream that really fits you, that picks you, then you're open. And then you grab it, and then you're there. So it's not magical. It's normal life, just like you just said, I learned it the hard way. Well, I give it to you the easy way. What I think, how I did it, how people did it with me, how they built me up to be me.
Frank, I think you really struck a nerve with Jer with the whole overpacking your luggage part. I know she travels a lot. She's probably just trying to find a way to be efficient.
She's a woman. Awesome. She's a woman. Please give her some space. She's a woman. She needs all that stuff.
Well, I know when I travel with my girl, she always makes sure to have extra pieces. But that's also a plus that goes underrated when ladies pack, because they're actually thinking of all the possibilities, and they're actually more prepared for those situations when they travel, right? So should an occasion change, because when you travel, as much as you can plan it, things do change. Maybe a different type of restaurant, different type of scenery, or maybe it's raining, maybe it's too hot, maybe it's too cold, and things change because they do overpack. In a sense, they are thinking in advance for those circumstances. So in no way am I making fun, Jer, or ladies listening. We're basically just saying, it's good to overthink. I just thought it was funny that of all things for Jer.
I want to give you something with that. I spoke this week on Clubhouse about that, and for me, I wish there were more women at the top of the world, of governments, because they think much clearer than we men do. They take more time. They're more sensitive. I wish there were more people. I wish I had a female president here. I'm telling you, I wish I had a female president here in Holland, because If I look to all my girls in my life, all the women in my life, well, I was blessed to have those women in my life, because just what you said, they think a little bit more and clearer than most of the men do. Of course, there are good men, but and all men are good, but we think differently, completely differently.
I don't know about the all men are good part, but even I mean, just being blunt out
Men
there.
being men, eh? Men being men, doing the men thing, they probably do the men thing, and that's a good thing, because we are men. We have to do the things that men should do right.
Everyone has their role. At the end of the day, it's kind of teamwork,
Exactly.
right? It's
Exactly.
like a
Yeah, it is.
duality. Yeah, because even in my book, I had to put a chapter of women empowerment. I just had to, because the people.
It's a dance. It's a dance. I wish I could really
Absolutely.
dance and feel the dance, and then we are right.
It's a duality, and the people that I care
Yeah.
about the most in my life, a lot of them are women, like that are the closest to my heart, which of course is my sister, my girl, my mom, even our dog is a female, and I love her to death, of course. And so, but it is what it is, right? And women have that nurturing, that caring, that creative force in them,
That
and
sense, they've got a special sense, and that we need that sense more in the world.
it's that
O-
intuition
on
that they
that on that high
tap into.
places, we need more sense, common sense, for sure.
Because even though my book can relate to sales and stuff, I even put a topic in there that goes, you want to be a salesperson, not a salesman, because men can be jerks, right? So you definitely don't want to be a salesman. But I wanted to ask you one more thing, Frank. It's when you were creating your course, when you were creating the program, and you were putting things together, you know, for sure you came across some obstacles. Maybe you had some self doubt, because we all go through these things, and you question to yourself, can people benefit? Of course they can. And you have, just like we were just talking about dualities and like dances, right? We have our own internal and mental dances that we do as well. Now, when you were putting this together and you finally overcame whatever it was that maybe you were struggling with, because we all have our own internal battles, for the person listening that maybe thinks to themselves, that can't happen to me. That's great for Frank, that he has a book, that he's speaking, that he's traveling, that he went from jail to like international speaker, that he's a keynote speaker, that he has all of these things, he's doing his coaching program, and so much more. That's good for him, but that'll never happen to me. For that person, what kind of light would you shed to that person, to let them know that not only is that possible for them, but even more so that maybe that's happened to you, myself, or Jer? What would you share with them so that they know that it absolutely is possible, regardless of what mental barriers they think they have or don't even know that they have?
Well, again, I go back to the support team. It's really, everything is possible, but you have to find that support team. You need those. We all need that cheerleader. We all need that mentor. We all need that coach that really fits you. So many people say to me now, when they hear me speak, they say, "You are my new coach now." I said, "Wait a minute, before you say this, let's have a talk." And after 45 minutes, I say, "We are not a good match. We are not a good match. I can take your money, but you will not succeed." But we all need that 5 people, that cheerleader, that mentor, that coach, that best friend, and that protege, because the protege in your life, I learn so much from my clients. I learn more from them sometimes than they learn from me, because it's so much fun to listen to questions like this. If you ask me a question like this, I start straight away thinking, hey, wait a minute, that's a good question. I needed that question, because there are people who are going to say this in front of the event. They're going to say, oh, yeah, luckily you made it, but that's not for me. Was I prepared for that? No, I was not. But I'm going to say to you, listen, ask me next time and I'll be there. We all need those questions. And if I give you an answer now on that question, I told you what I said, create that team that fits you. And then everything is possible. And yeah, the book shows you The book shows you that many times. I said that too. I said, nah, that's not going to work for me. No way, no. Oh, you're going to be fine. No, you're going to be fine. Well, they gave me 13 years. My solicitor said after the trial, they're going to give you 18 months. Guess what? They give me 13 years. So that's a little different. So that's life. But I always say, listen, if you believe in yourself and there are people around you who believe in yourself, well, step into your greatness. And greatness is waiting for you. And don't say it's not for you, because if it can be for me, for you, why not for you? Why not? That's the answer. Why not?
Mm-hmm. I love that. That's amazing. It's beautiful. Okay, so we're just about done, but I want people to reach out to you. So how can people get a hold of you?
Well, I'm everywhere at the moment. If you Google me, you see a lot of good things. You see a lot of shit. You see a lot of, sorry for my French. You see a lot of rubbish because, what can you do? People put, I was on 60 Minutes program and they promised me the world. They filmed here in close to Amsterdam. They filmed me for 3 days. And I thought, no, this is great. Now, guess what? The show came. It was great for them, not for me. And but you can find it everywhere because when I asked Gerry to take, must I take it off the YouTube? He said, no. Even the worst thing is good for you. So, if you want to find me.
Rattle the chains of life, come on.
People like the bad guys too, it's really, they see me as a bad guy. Well, guess what? Read the book and then say if I'm a bad guy or not. Doesn't matter, But also what I want to say, so many people, I wish I had $10 million at the moment, just right now. Then I would print as many books I could print for that money and give them to people they really need. Because now people buy my book. And after 3 weeks, I say, what are you about the book? Oh, I didn't read it. I started, but it's busy. Then it's not for you, the book. The book is, if you really, really want to find your purpose in life, read the book from the beginning to the end. And then if you're
how can people find your book?
They can find it everybody. I've got www.trappedinadream.book.com. They can find everything.
Well, I'm going to go get that book, so you better go and get that book right away. While we're giving away books, we're going to also give you the Millionaire Mindset book by Mr. Gerry Robert himself. Thank you so much, Frank, for being here with us. I know there was so much information and you have so much to give. Again, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and get his book, get in touch with him. If you want to start dreaming and making those things come to life, of course, Frank is he's your guy. And of course, like I was talking about the Millionaire Mindset book, if you guys want that book, go to bit.ly/BCBbooks. And again, thank you so much, Frank. We'll see you guys in the next one.
BCBtv. Believe, create, become.